Robotnik entering another
Okay.
person who ends up becoming Dr. Eggman, or is known as Dr. Eggman.
Robotnik
So I was like,
enters somebody in the comic. I don't want to watch that.
well, no, like his life spark type of
Oh,
deal.
okay, that's less weird.
I've warned my wife that if Sally Acorn, Princess Sally, comes to life, we're over. Like, that's it. I'm done.
Welcome back to Honzy and Friends. I'm the Honzy, and we're back with some Sonic Frontiers. So I've got my Sonic lore expert buddy from Screen Rant back with me. Steven, how you doing today, buddy?
Good. And I'm not that whole Sonic lore expert. That's not going to get old, man. It's not getting old.
You've worked very hard for this and probably put out a couple hundred Sonic related articles. So I think it's deserved, buddy.
Nice. But yeah, my name's Stephen Blackburn, writer for Screen Rant for the comics, manga, anime, and interviews section. And it's in the comic section where I get to write about all the goodness of Sonic IDW, which is the current ongoing series publisher, and Archie, which is the older continuity. So, yep.
Well, yeah, you were kind of giving us a little bit of a background on some of the like contenders, how all the craziest Sonic stories come from that one guy, and I think it's amazing you even had the chance to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him a few times actually. Like, he's just a down to earth dude, and yeah, like, yeah, I won't get into that. But yeah, no, anyway, yeah. So so one of the things we're talking about, yeah, the end game series. So issues 47 and 50. So we're talking about like the Saturday morning cartoon, which the series was based off of, got
Yeah.
canceled. So they really thought it was going to be over. So in that one, they had. Oh, I'll tell you what's going on here. So they basically kill off Dr. Robotnik. You know, they thought it was yeah, it was going to be the end. But yeah, in that story, just a whole lot happens. Like, so the first issue of the four-parter had Sonic being framed for the murder of Princess Sally, who is one of my favorite characters of all time.
But they love each other.
Yeah, and
I
it's actually
think.
one of those.
Sorry.
Oh, that is Jesus. But yeah, I've warned my wife that if Sally Acorn, Princess Sally, comes to life, we're over. Like, that's it. I'm done.
Jesus. You're the poor psychological health of your wife.
I will say it. I am a furry. I admit it.
Proud furry friend here. We support all walks of life here on Honzy and Friends, furry or non.
But yeah, so in that story, yeah, so he's framed for that. He's
you can't just brush this aside. You just yeah, I'm a furry. Anyway,
Oh, you want me to keep talking about my furriness?
well, I mean, it's up to you how deep you want to go into that. But what about Sally would make you leave your wife, your real human wife?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll give a shout out to someone like one of my like a buddy. I'll call him a buddy on Twitter. I just know him on Twitter, but Wispo, or he has a lot of different Twitter handles. But basically, he's a big furry. But for a particular character in the IDW universe, Whisper the Wolf, I'll just say, like, I'm not that way for her, like, not like Sally, but she's one of my favorite characters of all time in Sonic, which is meaning like, so if we do more of these podcasts, like, you'll know, like, I'm more of an Archie guy than IDW, but there's some amazing things going on in IDW, and one of them, original character Whisper the Wolf, I love her character so much. Like, oh my god, she's up in the top 10, maybe even top 5 of all Sonic characters.
That's one that I don't think they've ever put into the game, because I'm 100% not familiar with. You said,
yeah, like it's an IDW exclusive. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it would be great if she comes into the games, just because she's such a cool character. Like, it's kind of building off of Sonic Colors, actually. Like, so she uses the wisps. You know, the wisp. Like, she uses a Wispon weapon, where basically she uses different wisps for different things. Like she has one for floating, one for creating a hammer, things like that. And
Okay.
so that's like her main weaponry, but she's also a sniper and things like that. But she just has such an awesome pet. Like she's one of those tragic characters in IDW, and you don't see much of those. Like they have there's a special 4-part series, Tangle and Whisper, where basically, and Tangle's another IDW exclusive. She's a lemur, but yeah, so like finding out about Whisper's past and why she's the way that she is.
So
Um,
Whispers Past, I do want to hear more about that, but I almost feel like we need to give more disclaimer because, like, imagine if you've only played Sonic games and you're
oh,
like, oh yeah, Robotnik dies, and then there's a whole
oh,
civilization,
right.
and Sally the Acorn's there too. Uh,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll get in. Do you want me to talk about the end game then a little bit?
yeah, I'm really
Okay.
curious. Like, well, what was Robotnik doing to make them be like, we're gonna kill you? How did they do it? And then what happened?
Yeah, so it was so he was using this thing called the Annihilator, I believe, and it was like just to annihilate, just to start he was going
Well, it
to,
didn't bake cookies, that's for sure.
yeah. And so during the final fight, they're battling over it, and it ends up, going off. But then, so Robotnik has a nephew called Snively, and if you're watching the Saturday morning cartoon, then you're familiar with him. But basically, he's scared of his uncle, and like he's kind of like the scheming. He's kind of like a Starscream, but from Transformers. Like he follows Robotnik, it's his uncle, but he's always like scheming, and like if he
Like
can get rid of
getting
him,
ready to like betray him.
yeah. Like, and it was that moment where he switched a switch, when it was going off, and the it was a combination of that and Sonic being Sonic and destroying everything that causes ends up
No.
engulfing engulfing Dr. Robotnik, and killing him. And
Oh, so
but then
Snively kills him.
yes and
His
no,
own
it's
blood?
like, yeah, it's like I haven't read the issue in a long time, so I might be getting it wrong. Sorry, but
Man, what is this, Game of Thrones?
yeah, and yeah, so basically how it ends up happening is Dr. Robotnik dies, and then but the Annihilator beam that was supposed to destroy everything, it ends up putting Knothole, which is where Sonic, that's his hideout. So because basically they used the animal kingdom, they used to have their own kingdom called Mobotropolis,
Okay.
and when Dr. Eggman came and betrayed them because they used to be friends, long story, he took over Mobotropolis, created Robotropolis, and kicked the animal kingdom, like the kingdom of Acorn, out, and they ended up having to live in the forest, and one of the places where they're hiding out is called Knothole. And
Okay.
so
So
when he
that
was going to try
becomes
to
like
destroy,
the animal kingdom's like refuge or safe
yeah,
space.
yeah, basically, yeah, like their hidden headquarters, and the beam ends up putting Knothole, I think it was 30 minutes in the future, which created a lot of problems. And then there was this like whole story of trying to get Knothole back into the present time, and that ended up involving Sonic having to attach a Super Emerald to his back and running really fast to set
Weird.
it. Yeah, like, and that was actually a really cool instance because of he ran so fast that his appearance changed forever. I don't know why they changed it. Maybe it was just to match up with the games more. I haven't looked into that,
Hmm.
but he ends up
Oh,
changing, like his
is that
eyes
how they
change.
like explain the difference between like classic Sonic and this current Sonic?
Yeah,
Oh, weird.
yeah, that could be
Cool.
like, so they changed like his eye color like to green, and getting buckles getting buckles on his sneakers now because he runs so fast, I guess. Um, but what was so cool though is that, and they never went back on it. And again, and it was one of the problems with Archie was that they started all these cool things but never finished them. And one of them was when he was running really fast, he ended up like becoming like
Oh,
changing
oh my
based
god.
on the environment that he was in. So like when he was running through the tundra, he turned white and became Tundra Sonic. When he was running through like a forest, he became
Okay.
Eco Sonic. Things like that. When he was running through and then when he was running through the deserts, he became um, Solar Sonic. I mean, and
Source. Okay.
yeah, so like, but they never expanded upon that, and it would have been so cool if they did.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, so I mean, so yeah, so basically, getting Knuckle back had him run really fast, and that changed his appearance. But then he also became like an elemental hedgehog and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like hedgehogs do.
Yeah, it's
They're
like it's funny too.
you don't listener, you don't know. You've never seen a real hedgehog. You don't that's something they totally do.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, interesting. Like actually going to the Sega games, like the creator, the reason why Sonic is so weak in water is because he thought that hedgehogs couldn't swim, but apparently they're really good swimmers, which is kind of a funny thing. Like he's like, oh, I think they're not good at swimming, so I'm gonna make Sonic weak in water.
Right. I mean, you look at like a real hedgehog, and I definitely look at that like that they can't swim. I get it.
So that was the end game. So he's framed for killing his girlfriend,
Sonic?
Sally Acorn. Yeah. They framed him because there was also a member of the Wolf Pack, which was they're friends to the or allies to the freedom fighters, but one of them ends up betraying them and helps in framing Sonic for killing her. So then he ends up, getting arrested, but then he ends up having to escape, and it really helps because like one of the people, I'm getting deep into lore here, but like
Oh,
so
that's what
there's
I
the
was
freedom.
hoping for. Well, how would they capture Sonic? I mean, I would imagine it'd be a lot like trying to capture the Flash or something.
Well, I mean, it was the thing that like he was just let it happen because it's like he thought he killed her too, or like he
Oh
thought,
wow! So
well, he
even
didn't
he
kill
was
her.
convinced.
Yeah, but like, well, he didn't, but he thought that she had died, and for a
Okay.
while, everyone thought so. He was just like in shock, and so they get him. So because there's the freedom fighters who are like just like a bunch of teenagers who are fighting against Dr. Robotnik, and then there's also the official army, um, which I wouldn't say army, but it's led by um, uh, uh, Saint Henry. Oh wait, I'm getting the name wrong. Joffrey. So, and he's a
It is Game
skunk.
of Thrones. Sorry, I couldn't help
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. So I'm saying Joffrey, no, but yeah. So Saint John,
Hiya!
yes, yeah.
Hiya!
Jeffrey
Hiya!
Saint John, and he hates Sonic. Like he's just always never been a fan of him. So it's like one of those things where he relishes in um, you know uh, taking Sonic, trying to get him. But then Sonic ends up escaping, and then ends up having to fight Dr. Robotnik with his Annihilator weapon. So
But
that was
Robotnik
basically the end.
died, or was
He
this
he he does,
this
yeah.
a
He
flashback?
does die, and then so once the Archie comics continued, they ended up going with another character that they'd used before. It was Robo Robotnik, and basically,
Ah,
yeah. But there's also this other thing too, where and I was trying to get it clarified with Ken Penders, but we ended up talking about a lot of other things because there's an issue where we see the life spark of of Robotnik entering
oh,
another
okay, okay.
person who ends up becoming Dr. Eggman or is known as Dr. Eggman. So I was
Robotnik
like,
enters somebody in the comic. I don't want to watch that.
well, no, like his life spark type of
Oh,
deal.
okay, that's less weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But then he was saying, like, so I was asking Ken Penders, like, is that Dr. Eggman or? And he's like, no, it's Robo Robotnik, who was like his own creation.
Oh
So
God.
that's why I was going after, like you were saying, what the movies were gonna do since Jim Carrey's character died. They won't be able to do the Robo Robotnik because that's one of Ken Pender's creations. There
Oh,
was that
and he's
whole
really
lawsuit thing.
really careful with copyright stuff. I think.
Yeah, which I get it. I mean, they're his
Yeah.
creations. I mean, like he was actually trying, like even though he did Sonic, like his baby, like is Knuckles and the Echidnas, Like
Oh, that's
when there
right.
was, yeah, like
Oh
so there
God damn it!
it started off as like its own little mini series,
Which
but
honestly, I
then
think that they should dive more into in the movies. Like, it'd be
oh
great
god,
if they
yeah.
like actually. I mean, Ken Penders deserves the money. If they're like, look, we want to use some of your ideas for the third movie. Here's $5 million.
I mean that would be cool. I mean yeah. I mean, but it's
Oh
there
God damn it! This thing
there
sucks. It's
is
thick. It's a thick boy, but it's difficult. This is a difficult phase in this fight.
yeah, it looks like fun running around these portal
Oh
things.
God! Stop! Please stop! Ah, no! See, the red things like shoot you backwards, uh,
Oh, that's what's
so
going
and the
on.
blue ones shoot you forward. So I just have to thread the needle here. Okay, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Oh!
Made it. All right, now we gotta smack the butt, smack the butt. No, no, you jerk! Damn it, Sonic, you need to be better. Ow! And then he instantly responds by getting spanked. Okay,
Oh
that's
yeah, that's right. Other crazy thing. So yeah, there was Endgame. So where I was talking about earlier, you're just like, uh, I forgot what you said in episode one of this, and I was like, oh, it could actually be that way
oh
because of something crazy that happened.
oh
Um, yeah, yeah. So in issue 124 and 125 of Archie, um,
no!
they
I believe
actually
you. I just
no, yeah, you just died. So yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, oh yeah. So this is going off the thing, the comment I made in the episode one where I was like, the first design of Sonic for the movies that had like the giant PR. I think it was a PR stunt. It had to have been,
Oh
but
right, it
like the
definitely
whole thing
seems like
where
it.
yeah. So like, but there is something from the comics that kind of makes it seem like it was in response to that. So we find out that so in issue 124 of Archie, so the original comics, that Earth and the place where Sonic lives, Mobius, oh, sorry, Mobius, was the same, and that actually aliens called the Zorda came and destroyed the human race, and then that ended up giving rise to the type of creatures that Sonic is. So the Mobians
Oh okay.
and the Zorda, but they experimented on them, and so Sonic's people, so the Mobians have human DNA in them. So
Oh
that's kind of so,
okay.
so it's like kind of explaining like the anthropomorphic, like why
Oh,
they look the way they
that's
do.
that's a pretty good explanation, actually. Oh
Yeah, I thought it was so
no!
cool. It's like, oh, they have human DNA. All right, that's pretty cool, and it makes sense too. I mean that because there's
Oh my god!
on
Oh my god!
Mobius. So yeah, so there's the kingdom of Acorn, the Mobians, the animals, and then there's also the Overlanders who are humanoids, and they're what Doctor Robotnik is. But
Oh, all right.
yeah, so and it was actually in the Endgame series too, where we find out about Doctor Robotnik's past. We find out like he ends up getting kicked
Yeah.
out of the Overlanders, and he ends up the Mobians
Well,
end
actually,
up.
man, I
Oh,
think we're out of time, and I think you got to get to your thing. How about we save that for next episode?
oh man! All right, yeah, we can do that.
All right, sweet. Well, yeah, we'll get more we'll get more Hedgehog and Robotnik lore, and hey, we have a little audience waiting for it. So hey, look at these little guys.
Look at them; they're so
Huh.
cute.
All right. Well, subscribe and let us know if you've read any Sonic craziness, what kind of stuff you want us to talk about. But we'll have more Steven on for Honzy and Friends next time.
Awesome, looking forward to it. Love it.
All right. See ya.
Bye.